Here are some Versant Test tips and hacks that are sure to go viral. For our great books, please see the description and the link below the video. Join us in this video as we talk about some super hacks and tips that will help you pass the Versant Test with flying colors and make your preparation more effective. We break down the tips for each part of the exam, giving you examples and practice questions for each question type. Many test takers struggle with the Versant Test due to its unique format. We'll talk you through each part of the format of the different tests. If you're taking the most recent version of the Versant English test, these tips are for you. Part A of the most recent test is Answer the Question. For this task, you'll hear a short question that you will need to answer. Here are some tips. Just give a simple answer to the question. Your answer should be 1 to 4 words rather than a full sentence. Some questions will involve knowledge of idioms, so be sure to look at our other videos for more help with this skill. For many of the other questions, though, you will have a 50% chance of getting a correct answer, since you only need to repeat one of the 2 options provided. In the first example that follows, 2 options are given at the end of the question. You simply need to repeat one of these words for your answer. However, our second example is more difficult. Now listen and respond. Then check your answers. Example 1. Would you make a call with a camera or a telephone? Would you make a call with a camera or a telephone? Answer: a telephone. Example 2. Your boss says, "We need to go the extra mile for this project." What does he mean? Your boss says, "We need to go the extra mile for this project." What does he mean? Answer: you need to do extra work, or you need to make an extra effort. Part B. This is the repeat part. For this part of the exam, you will hear 16 sentences or questions. You need to repeat each one exactly as it is stated on the recording, word for word. Here are some tips. Repeat each sentence or question as accurately as you can. You will hear both short and long sentences or questions in this part. You'll need a good memory for this part of the exam, but the task will also be much easier for you if you have high-level English skills. You can also improve your memory skills by taking the practice tests in our book or on our website. Please see the links in the description below the video for more practice. Now listen and repeat what you hear. Then check your answers. Example 1.
You really should hire him, right now. You really should hire him, right now.
Example 2.
His office is located at the end of the hall on the top floor of that new office building in the city center. His office is located at the end of the hall on the top floor of that new office building in the city center.
Part C. Short conversations. For this type of task, you will hear conversations between two people. These conversations are followed by questions. You need to give a short, simple response to each question. There are 6 conversations in this section. Here are some tips. The short conversation consists of 3 brief sentences with 2 people speaking. Very often, the answer will be at the end of either the first sentence or the last sentence of the conversation. Listen for gist during the conversation, but focus on the endings of the first and last sentences. Now listen and respond. Then check your answers.
It is so hot this time of year.
I know, I can hardly stand it.
I'm going to suggest that we put the air conditioner on.
What is the woman going to suggest?
It is so hot this time of year.
I know, I can hardly stand it.
I'm going to suggest that we put the air conditioner on.
What is the woman going to suggest?
The answer for this was in the last line of the conversation, put on the air conditioner. Now listen and respond. Then check your answers.
I'm going to have to change my plans for the party.
What happened?
I need to go out of town this weekend.
What does the woman need to change?
I'm going to have to change my plans for the party.
What happened?
I need to go out of town this weekend.
What does the woman need to change?
The answer for this was in the first line of the conversation, plans for the party. Part D, questions on passages. In this part of the exam, you need to listen to 2 passages and then respond to 3 comprehension questions on each one. Here are some tips. You will be provided with a marker and a laminated sheet of paper. Take notes on the laminated paper as you listen to each passage. Be sure to write down the key idea from each sentence of the passage. Passages in this section are often in the format of problem, solution, and outcome, or cause, effect, and final result. Now listen and respond. Then check your answers.
Frankie wanted to buy a new car and had been looking for one for a few weeks. She looked at all of the ads in the newspaper and online and had been to visit a few car salespeople. She finally bought what she thought was the perfect one on the internet. It was a small red car with a big engine, which would be perfect for getting around in the traffic.
What did Frankie want to buy? Where did Frankie buy the car? What color was the car?
Frankie wanted to buy a new car and had been looking for one for a few weeks. She looked at all of the ads in the newspaper and online and had been to visit a few car salespeople. She finally bought what she thought was the perfect one on the internet. It was a small red car with a big engine, which would be perfect for getting around in the traffic.
What did Frankie want to buy? Where did Frankie buy the car? What color was the car? Part E, retell the passage. In this part, you will hear 2 passages. You will hear each passage once, followed by a beep. When you hear the beep, you have 30 seconds to retell the passage. You need to retell as much of the passage as you can, including the names, place, action, and ending. You'll hear another beep when the 30 seconds has finished. Here are some tips. Remember to include the following in your response: the person or people involved, the place, the event and the emotion about it, and the outcome or result. This section used to be called story retelling. Please see our separate video on this skill. Now listen and note the person, place, action, and outcome, and then retell the passage. Then check your answers.
Louise is a gardener who has her own gardening business. In the morning, she sells plants and flowers at her store, and in the afternoon, she goes to other people's homes to do their gardening. Sometimes other people ask her to put new plants and flowers in their gardens, but usually she just trims the flowers and clears things up for them. Louise is a gardener who has her own gardening business. In the morning, she sells plants and flowers at her store, and in the afternoon, she goes to other people's homes to do their gardening. Sometimes other people ask her to put new plants and flowers in their gardens, but usually she just trims the flowers and clears things up for them.
Here is a sample response. Louise has her own business working as a gardener. She has a store where she works selling things in the morning, and she also goes to people's homes in the afternoons. She sometimes plants flowers and other plants for people, but more often than not, she just tidies things up for them in their gardens. Part F. Give your opinion. In this part of the test, you will hear questions about family life or personal situations that are familiar to you. Each question will be spoken twice, followed by a beep. When you hear the beep, you'll have 40 seconds to speak. You'll hear another beep again when the 40 seconds has finished. Here are some tips. Remember to mention these points in your response: your opinion, examples and explanations, and any further information. Don't be concerned about the opinion that you expressed. You'll be assessed on your language skills, not on your viewpoint. Now listen and respond. Then check your answers.
Celebrities and famous athletes have a moral responsibility to children as role models. Do you agree? Please provide examples or explanations to support your viewpoint. Celebrities and famous athletes have a moral responsibility to children as role models. Do you agree? Please provide examples or explanations to support your viewpoint. Celebrities and famous athletes have a moral responsibility to children as role models. Do you agree? Please provide examples or explanations to support your viewpoint. Celebrities and famous athletes have a moral responsibility to children as role models. Do you agree? Please provide examples or explanations to support your viewpoint.
Here is a sample response. Celebrities and famous sports stars do indeed have a responsibility to young people as their role models. For example, children are often influenced by actions that they see on social media platforms, And they may even try to copy or imitate these behaviors because they admire these celebrities and want to be like them. In this case, celebrities should be mindful of their actions because, in my opinion, they really are setting examples for young people. So that sums up the parts of the most recent version of the test. However, if you're taking the 4 skills Versant Test, the Versant Student Placement Test, or the Versant Professional exams, you'll also need to know these following types of questions. Sentence builds. For this listening task, you have to rearrange the words or groups of words that you hear to form a question or sentence. You need to say your answer in the time provided in the recording. Here are some tips. Remember that some of the answers will be sentences, but others will be questions. When forming the questions, pay attention to the order of the verbs, as well as your intonation. Now listen and respond. Then check your answers.
Over. Get. Here. Over. Get. Here.
Answer 1 is a statement in the imperative voice. It should sound like this: get over here. Now listen and respond. Then check your answers.
Go away. This weekend. Will you? Go away. This weekend. Will you?
Answer 2 is a question. Again, be careful with your intonation. It should sound something like this: will you go away this weekend? You will also see sentence completion tasks on some of the Versant test. For this writing task, you will see the sentences on the computer screen and type in your response. Here are some tips. Write only one word. This is the word that best fits the meaning of each sentence. The beeps on the recording indicate the time allowed for each one, so it's usually best to write your answer as you're listening to the recording. Now read and complete the sentence on your screen. The answer of this is left. We know this because it is the opposite of right and the only logical answer. You may also see dictation questions. For this part of the professional exam, you'll hear 14 sentences. The sentences won't appear on your screen, and you won't need to repeat them. Instead, you need to type each sentence on your computer exactly as you hear it, and do this in the time provided on the recording. Here is a tip. You need to improve your listening skills for this task, and also be careful with your spelling. We provide more practice with this skill on our website. Please see the link in the description below the video. Now listen and respond. Then check your answers.
The memo needs to be completed by Friday.
Now write or type your response.
The memo needs to be completed by Friday.
Now write or type your response.
We all need to have good teamwork skills for this project.
We all need to have good teamwork skills for this project.
You might also see passage reconstruction questions on the Versant test. For this part of the test, you'll see 2 paragraphs. You'll have 30 seconds to read each one. After 30 seconds, the paragraph will disappear from your screen, and you then need to rewrite the passage using your own words, and you need to do this in the time allowed on the recording. Here are some tips. This is really like the retell the passage or story retelling task in other versions of the Versant test. The difference is that here you will need to read the passage instead of listening to it, and you will need to write your response instead of saying it. Like the retell the passage task, you need to remember the names, action, and ending when you rewrite the passage. Now take 30 seconds to read the passage. Make notes using the outline on the right. Now view the sample response. To summarize, by implementing these tips, you can enhance your confidence and performance on the Versant test. Also remember that if you practice consistently, work on your time management, understand the test format, and stay calm during the test, you will also succeed. By following all of these tips, you can achieve the results you need and take your English speaking skills to the next level. If you found these tips helpful, be sure to check out our other videos on test preparation and share your experiences in the comments below. Please remember to like, subscribe, and sign up for notifications. It helps our channel a lot. Good luck!